What's up, party people? It's Dave, and this is another art lesson. Welcome back to another episode of Art Lessons. I'm your host, Dave Connery, and we're going to do this one more time. And I say that as if I've done many of these, but I have not. This is only the third one, so I hope you appreciate it. It's time to bring the appropriate amount of energy. That is actually a note I wrote to myself. I'm not even kidding. If you see this on the video, which you won't on podcast, I have a note right there that says, bring the appropriate amount of energy. So let's do that, shall we? Anyway, like I said, this is Art Lessons, and I'm your host, Dave Connery, and the purpose of this show is to express real-time ideas about building a creative business in life, and the only way that I know I can, which is on the microphone and in front of the camera. And those of you that are on the mic that don't see the video, I'm sorry, but you can always go check it out on youtube.com/Dave Connery and see me there, or just do audio. It's your choice. Not a whole lot going on in the studio here visually, except for occasional references to a notebook that I just happen to be standing next to or sitting next to. Not essential, but still, I do a lot of other videos. You can always go check out some of those other videos. You can go there and subscribe to the show if you want to. I'm not going to force you into it, but it would definitely help. And you never know, you might see something cool that you're not going to get on here on the audio podcast. Just saying. Some of those videos don't make for good audio. You know what I mean? It's like me doing painting, and yeah, that's not going to do good on audio, I think. Just a guess. Anyway, today's episode is about not waiting for permission. You should not wait for permission. I didn't wait for permission. Well, I sort of waited for permission for a little bit, but that's a story we'll get to in a second. But the point of this is that we have all these opportunities to do all of these things with our businesses. And so many people are not doing the thing that they probably should be doing, could be doing, would be doing if they could get out of their own way. If they could stop worrying about what other people are saying about them and just focus on the thing that they were meant to be doing. It's as if people are still looking to the gatekeepers for permission to do the work that they want to do. They're looking for the galleries to help them get their art sold. They're looking to the publishers to help them get their books sold. They're looking to clients to help them get their design work on something. And there's many other circumstances where this is true, but those are the ones that are more appropriate to me, of course. But yeah, you don't need them. You got the opportunity to do the thing, and today I want to talk about how I got to this point right here, doing this thing on audio, on video, on canvas, because I think it's an important story to tell. We're here to document the journey, right? That's what this is all about, so let's talk about it. So as I mentioned in the last episode, I talked about when I got started on this journey. It was May of 2013. I got laid off from my job, and instead of worried about getting a new job, I went headlong into this new opportunity. Now, I was able to do that because of a really fat severance check, a really big severance check that I got from working for that company for a long time, and that allowed me the base to do the thing. So I just want to give an appropriate amount of respect to the idea that I had a fat stack of cash to hold on to for a little bit. On the opposite side of that, I do want to say that I burned through that cash really quickly and didn't get a whole lot done. It wasn't until I got further down the road and deeper into that stack of savings that I realized, well, I better get off my ass and start doing things. And I really got into motion shortly, like maybe 6 months after I got started. That's when it really started to happen. But I was still pushing forward on some of the things that I was meant to be doing anyway. Like at the time I'd started the podcast. But when I started that podcast, it wasn't just, hey, let's do a podcast, go. I was scared. I was worried, I wanted perfection, I wanted to make it as best I possibly could, as we are prone to do. I mean, of course, we want to put out good work, but I was looking for permission to wait for better, to wait for a better microphone, to wait for a better scenario to host, to wait for better guests to talk to. And when I went to this mastermind group with somebody I respected, who we'll keep him off here because not important to the story, but I went to this mastermind and they sat me up front, put me on the hot seat, and I told them what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do this. And she said to me, Okay, but why haven't you done it yet? And well, this and and this and that, and I didn't, and because, and she's, stop asking for permission for these things. Just go do. Don't worry about the microphone that you have. Don't worry about the situation around recording. Don't worry about the guests. Just go record it and then put it out there and then figure out the rest down the road. It's not that important. All that stuff will come to fruition. And here's the thing. I did that show for a couple of years, and she was right. Now, it took me a long time to get ramped up. It took me a really long time to get ramped up, but I got there. And when I say I got there, I mean I got to the point where I was comfortable enough in the scenario to not worry about anything. The reason I didn't do it anymore is just it got to become drudgery for me, and it wasn't as fun anymore because I felt like I was doing work and I wasn't doing the real thing I needed to be doing, which was my art, and have my art and the work that I do around it be the inspiration for other people. And so that's kind of why I stopped that show and started moving towards other things. Now, if you jump ahead 3 years later to around April, May of 2016, I was sitting in the car watching my son play soccer, and I was in the car because it was kind of hot outside and I wanted to be in the air conditioning or whatever. So I was in the car and listening to, I don't know, probably Gary Vaynerchuk or some sort of person that kind of lit a fire under my butt. And in that exact moment, I grabbed my iPhone. I opened up the video recording app. I put that camera right up there. I have one of those dash mount things. I put my camera right up there on the dash mount, and I just started recording a video. I had no idea what I was going to talk about, except I was going to talk about the idea of I'm going to push forward, do things different. From that moment forward, I was going to focus on doing things that were more centered around my business, around creating something for myself, documenting my own journey. It was a crappy video sitting in my car, not the best environment, and I did a few small edits. I didn't edit the audio that much. I didn't edit the quality of the video. I didn't colorize it, and I posted it. I posted it up on YouTube, and that became the next step in my journey. The vlog, which now is a 100 deep. I'm actually coming up on 101. It's 100 episodes deep, and it all started from me just telling myself that I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to do this thing. I'm not going to wait for permission to post a video. I'm just going to do that thing. And I did it. And now here I am. Here on video in front of you for those of you watching a video, and here on audio for those of you listening on audio. The same thing goes for this podcast. The exact same thing. I don't need to redo the whole story. It's the exact same thing. I recorded directly into my phone something I wanted to talk about. And that became the germinating idea that turned it into this, me talking to you right here, right now. What you're listening to started on an iPhone. The videos I do started on an iPhone. So you don't need the best equipment. You don't need the best video camera. You don't need the best microphone. You don't need any of that stuff. You just need the strength of will to want to get it done and make some changes in your life and do some things. Now, I'm not saying go do your own video blog or go do your own podcast. I'm just saying if there's something that you want, that you need to go after, then just go. What are you waiting for? Nothing. You're waiting for nothing. You're waiting for somebody to tell you that you can't and that you can listen to them. I hope that's not true, but I guarantee you that's exactly why some people don't do the thing. They're waiting for somebody to say, no, you're never going to be any good at that, so they can quit on the idea. It's the truth. It's the absolute truth. It's harsh, but you're going to get a little bit of that from me because I know it's true. And I know it's true because I've been there. And thankfully, somebody lit the fire underneath me, just like I'm trying to light the one underneath you. But here's something else you need to understand about this work. About the work I do, about whatever work you may end up doing. It may fall on deaf ears or blind eyes. It may not get you anywhere. You may not gain any customers at all from it, or at least not the amount that you're hoping. But you may get one. And that's what counts. In an era where we look at our follower count as some sort of indicator towards our level of success, I'm telling you right now, none of that shit matters. And I probably shouldn't have said that word, but whatever. We're going with it. If you affect change in one person, then you win. If you affect change in 100 people, awesome. But if you can affect change in one person, then you win. I've always been a pretty hard worker, and over the last couple of months, I've had more and more people tell me, Dave, you're one of the hardest working people I know. And I appreciate that. It's really nice when it comes from people that I think are hard workers, but I'm not going to lie. Most of the stuff that I do falls on blind eyes or falls on deaf ears and doesn't create customers for me. But I'm still here doing it. Why? Because you may get affected and make a change. Because you may do something after hearing this and go do the thing that you're meant to be doing. And I don't care about the person next to you or the person that's listening in the next car over or at the gym next to you or the other friend that you have that happens to listen or watch me. I care about you. If you get affected, then I win. Period. That's why I do this. And that's why I'm not afraid to jump in to video or audio or any of these. It's why I keep going, because I want to make change within you. And if I do that, awesome. And then you'll share, and hopefully I'll make change within somebody else that you shared it with, and they'll do the same. I've always had this passion for helping others. I've always had it. It took me a really long time to identify it, but I always have done it. I've always liked to help other people achieve things. It's just part of my DNA. When I understood that and understood that I enjoyed it so much, I realized it was my purpose. It was my purpose to do what I do to help other people. Now, an argument could be said about my art not necessarily falling in line with that, and you might be true. That might be right. I mean, some of my art is very kind of like rah, hey, go do good things, do the work, be awesome, think, and, all that stuff. But it's not all like that, right? It's not, and that's just, my art is just an expression of some of the things that I'm thinking about. And yes, I want people to buy my art. And yes, I want you to be able to go to my shop and say, hey, I like Dave, and this piece is kind of cool, so I'm going to buy that. Even if it's not the rah, sis boom ba, let's go Dave, let's go, do some art, make great things, let's help people. It's not always about that. The art is not meant that. The art is just an expression. It's the art that I do outside of the canvas, on the video and on the audio and other places. That's the art that matters, at least to you and me. And that's my purpose. That's where I drive my purpose. The purpose comes to roost right here between me and this microphone. So my passion is helping people. My purpose is doing it in a way that gets into the eardrums and eyeballs of people who I might not necessarily run across. And the only way I know how to do this appropriately is to document my journey, to let you know this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm going about my business, because I'm definitely not sitting here telling you I have your success formula. I know exactly what's going to make you that $1 million, because I know people like that and they suck. They suck. I mean, some of them are cool, but for the most part, those people suck because they don't ever show you the stuff that's in the back. And if you're watching, you can see all the stuff that's behind me that's just junk. And I used to be kind of self-conscious of the stuff that's behind me in the background, because it's like, oh, well, that's not the pretty picture of a studio. You go on Pinterest or Instagram, you see these people, they're fancy studios. Mine's not like that. It's not junk, but it's definitely not, pretty picture back there. It's boxes and tubes and, stuff placed randomly. And I've got this crazy canvas over on my other shoulder here that's painted all crazy. And so it's not a perfect scenario. And that's the thing. I let you in because I want you to see what's going on in the background. You just got an invite into the sausage factory. But some people aren't going to do that for you. I don't have a problem with it. You can see the backstage. You can see behind the curtain, because I'm always bringing it real. And that's what I think is important. That's why people react to me the way that they do, because I always bring it real. So you take all that stuff, you take the passion and the purpose and the documentation, and what you end up with is a dude who has an overwhelming desire to share stuff for the benefit and entertainment of others. There we are. We're right in the middle of that. How's it feel to be there? Because this is where I live. This is the place that I live in all the time. Is this a path to success? I don't know. For you, I don't know. I couldn't answer that. But it's my path, and it feels right, and so that's why I do what I do. Will it work for others? Could it work for you? Possibly, but I can't answer that. Even if I had everything I know about you lined out, I still couldn't say that it was definitely a path to success. Like, even if you were exactly like me, I couldn't tell you that this is the path to success because I don't live your life. Because even if I know every single aspect about you, about how you do your work, where you like to be, good on camera, good on audio, good in pictures, the other things that I don't know about your life, like how's your daily life, what's your family situation, what's your work dynamic otherwise, I couldn't answer any of that because I have a certain amount of time and a space available for myself, and that's how this all works out for me. You have to figure that out on your own. And some people have asked, do I have to do all of these things, Dave? Do I have to do video? Do I have to do audio? Do I have to do Instagram? Do I have to do Snapchat? Do I have to do... Yes and no. I mean, if you can do them all, yeah, sure. If you have the capability to do them all, yes. Because as many times as you can get yourself out there, as many nodes as you can get out there to reach out to people, the more likely you're going to find the people that want to watch and listen and follow you. But if you're not comfortable on the mic, well, either get more comfortable, figure out a way to get more comfortable, or don't. If you're not comfortable on video, figure out a way to be more comfortable on video, or don't. Find your path. Do you. Do you. Don't do me. Do you. This works for me because I'm leaning toward my strengths. I didn't know they were strengths at first, but as I dove into them, as I got more comfortable with myself on camera and on microphone and all that, then I learned that, hey, I'm actually pretty good here. I actually exist pretty well. And I watch, okay, so here's me being super hyper critical of others. I listen to other podcasts, of course, and I watch other videos, of course. And there's some people out there that have tons and tons and tons of more followers and listeners and watchers than I do. But they suck. They suck. They suck at this. And again, I'm judgmental. And I'm not going to name any exact names, but these people are just not, I mean, it blows my mind that they have as many people as they do following them because they're just not that great. They're not fun to watch or fun to listen to. And so if I know without a shadow of a doubt that I'm better than them at that, even though I don't have the hundreds of thousands of followers that some of them do, I know that I'm going to win. I know it because I'm leaning into my strengths, whether it's on video or on audio or splashing paint on a canvas with some cheeky phrase and a couple of skulls here and there. I'm going to win because I can lean into these things that I know are my thing. I'm doing my thing. You have to decide what your thing is and then do that. Okay, so again, no questions posed to me yet, which I understand. You guys are new, that not comfortable with Dave just yet, or you may not even have listened to me at this point until now, and that's okay. So I'm going to pose a question to you, and I want honest response. You can always come to me at Twitter, twitter.com/Dave Conry, DaveConry, or you can hit me up on Instagram too. That works. That's, I answer messages there, no problem. But anyway, so hit me up on Twitter and answer this question. What is the thing that you're holding back on, that you want to be doing, but you haven't done yet because you're afraid of what may transpire, or you're waiting for permission? Now, this requires you to be completely 100% honest with yourself. And there's no shame in the answer. You're not going to get shamed here. I guarantee you're going to get nothing but love and support here. So ask away, and we'll share what somebody said next time. And, of course, if you want to be featured on here as a question, please do. Ask me a question. Same place, Twitter, Instagram, wherever, Dave Conry. Find me, pose your questions, and we'll talk about them. Like I said last time, I may not necessarily have the right answer, but I got an answer for you. We'll talk about it, okay? All right. that's pretty much it for this particular episode, folks. I really appreciate you hanging out. Remember, if you want to hang out with me more, you can always find me on pretty much every single social media outlet as Dave Conry. Go do that thing. Find me there. Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Pinterest, wherever. I mean, some of those more than others, but go do that. Also YouTube, of course. I almost forgot that one. YouTube, important one. And in fact, that actually brings up a real quick point. The next episode, we're going to talk about my process and why YouTube is so integral to that whole thing. And we're going to go in detail, super great detail about why I use YouTube as the cornerstone for everything. So we will talk about that next time. Folks, if you're new here, this is your first episode or even second or third, and you haven't reviewed the show, please go do that. Go into iTunes or wherever it is that you review your shows and do a little review if you could, even if it's just giving the 5-star thing and then making a little tiny little comment. Dave, you rock. Or, I don't know, hey, you don't want to do 5 stars? Great. I don't care. Just do something because that's going to help me out. And if you haven't done the subscribe thing, please do that and share it with some people because that's awesome too. For you YouTube folks, if you are here for your first time, do me a favor, like that video up and subscribe. You can do that with the thing right there. And there's a little bell. You can click that bell and it'll tell you every single time I post a video, which is 2 times a week. Tuesdays, Thursdays. Tuesdays is the podcast. Thursdays is some sort of art-oriented thing. And we rock it out both of those days. And sometimes you can even get a little special little snippet thing once in a while too. Once in a while. And that's it. We're done. So, remember, folks, be good today, be even better tomorrow. See ya.